Okay. Hello everyone. I know I said my goodbyes and everything else, but I found the link that Channel 5 News was speaking of this morning, and everything else. I went to the website and I typed in a list of terrorist attacks, and I had to look through all the articles that Channel 5 News has done to cover this, and I found it. If you give me a second, as you see, I'm rolling me a cigarette. Um, I'm sitting on my tobacco. And I'll say the link and everything else, and then I'll put my camera out of the window. It will still be able to record me and everything else while I read it. The reason why I'm giving you the link and everything else is so, if you so choose, you can go back and you can write the link down and everything else, and you can go back and you can take a look at it for yourself to, see that I didn't add anything, or that this was really said, and everything else, because I think that this is something that, people need to hear. They need to read for their own. I know that Muslim lives matter. Every life matters. But, to them, if you're not Muslim and you do not believe the way that they believe, then you do not deserve to live. So, you want to take my life because, you possibly want to try to take my life, and you have taken other people's lives because we don't agree with the way that you do. Excuse me for a second. I got to get me something to drink. Like I was saying, you want to take our life, and possibly, you want to take lives of other people, whether it be in the United States, Europe, Afghanistan, Iraq, not Iranian, Iraq. Baby girl, you can't have none of this. You see my kitten trying to drink my soda? Whether it be Iran, Iraq, Siberia, or however you say that. No matter where it's at, no matter if it's a Muslim, no matter if it's a white man, if it's a black man, it's Native American, Asian, African, no matter what type of nationality you are, if you try to take somebody's life because they don't believe the way that you believe, you want to go ahead, you want to go around, you want to buy bombs, and, you want to fly planes into buildings and kill all these people, then, you don't have a right to be here. You don't have a right to live. So, anyway, you can find the article at www.newschannel5.com/news/national/the ban _US _ban _y _these _7. Or you can go to www.newschannel5.com and you can click on their search button and you can type in list of terrorist attacks. And then you will scroll down through that and you will look for the link that says the US ban YB7. Okay, I'm scrolling down here. And everything else, okay. Cardiff, Wales, January 30th. A woman holds a sign that reads Muslim Lives Matter during a protest on Queen Street following U.S. President Donald Trump's ban on people from 7 Muslim-majority countries entering the United States. On January 30th, 2017, in Cardiff, Wales, President Trump signed an executive order on Friday banning the immigration to the U.S. for 7 Muslim countries. This led to protests across America, and today the UK, a British petition asking for the downgrading of Trump's site visit passed 1 million signatures this morning. You know, see, that right there even shows you that Europe is behind us. Okay, the circular issued by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, could not be clearer. For the next 90 days, nearly all travels except U.S. citizens traveling from Iraq, Syria, Sudan, Iran, Somalia, Libya, and Yemen will be temporarily suspended from entering the United States. By why this mixed bag countries? The Trump administration points out that all were previously on a list of countries of concern. This is true. The DHS compiled the list last year following the passage of the Visa Waiver Program Improvement and Terrorist Travel Prevention Act. January the 25th, 2016, Iran, Iraq, Sudan, and Syria was the first countries put on the list. The following month, the DHS added Libya, Somalia, and Yemen after consulting the Director of National Intelligence in the State Department. But it is a substantial but. Those new restrictions were not aimed at the citizens of these countries. They were aimed at those eligible for Visa Waiver Program, VWP. People of dual national or, for example, someone of French or Belgian nationality who'd been in Yemen or Iraq. Those restrictions did not amount to the ban or entry, but demand much more information from the applicants. So, you know, see, what everybody's been moaning and griping and bitching, saying, you know, that they're not from these countries, that they was over there for such and such reason, all they had to do was give more information on why they wanted to leave. Okay? They wasn't completely stopped. The main reason, according to the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, was the risk posed a situation in Syria and Iraq were unstable, has attacked thousands of foreign fighters, including many from VWP countries. Such individuals could travel to the United States. The U.S. maintains a visa waiver program with 38 countries. By contrast, President Trump's executive orders, especially aimed at nationalities of 7 countries, not those who travel to those states, and it is an outright ban. The executive order does not explain why these countries have been selected and others not, except to say that deteriorating conditions in certain countries due to war, strife, disaster, and civil unrest increase the likelihood that terrorists will use any means possible to enter the United States. Did you hear that? Use any means possible. So that means if they have to lie to get a waiver for a visa, they're going to do it. They're going to use any means, to get their butts over here so, they can kill more people or get their butts to wherever they want to go. Wake up, people. The conditions in these countries offer at least some reason for their inclusion, if not complete picture. Syria and Iraq. There are still thousands of foreign fighters in Iraq and Syria. ISIS has a substantial presence in both countries and is plagued to take its fight to Western Europe and the United States, especially as its core territory shrinks. In most instances, ISIS has used its pool of foreign fighters, especially Belgian and French citizens, to plan and carry out overseas attacks, or sought to encourage others already living in the West to launch terror attacks. However, in October, a Syrian refugee allegedly with links to ISIS was arrested in Germany after explosives found in his apartment. 2 other Syrians turned him in to the authorities. Good for them. Because if they hadn't, it ain't no telling how many people would have been killed and hurt. Another Syrian who applied for asylum in Germany blew himself up in July in the attack in Bashka. Ryman. Al-Qaeda is strong in Syria and Yemen. Has repeatedly demonstrated its intent to launch attacks on the West, but not so far by trying to send Syrians and Yemens aboard. The brother who attacked the Charlie Hebdo officer were French, but he spent time with Al-Qaeda in Arabian Peninsula, or AQAP. Other AQAP conspiracies have forced on trying to smuggle bombs on board civilian aircraft bound for the U.S. AQAP is expert in making the U.S. its #1 target largely by encouraging lone wolf attacks, and it's not by any means exclusively a human organization. The group master bomb maker is Saudi Abihim al-Azhari, and AQAP's under-bomber in 2009 was a Nigerian. Both ISIS and Qaeda are trans-neutral in nature, with members from dozens of countries. Somalia. Somalia has endured nearly 3 decades of civil war from terrorism. Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda affiliated regularly launches suicide attacks in the capital Mogadishu and across the country, as well as neighboring Kenya. An unknown number of American of Somali descent, probably in the dozens, have joined the group. Many have been killed in Somalia, but much of Shahaba would like to launch an attack in the west. There is no evidence that it has tried to. Libya. Libya has become a base for ISIS in the last 2 years. The group has lost its urban footholds in Drina and Sirte, which retreat to the desert. In any case, many of its more important figures are not Libyan, but Tuscan. There are also plenty of Tuscan in the ISIS ranks in Syria and Iraq, and the Berlin Christmas mark attack was Tuscan, but it is not one of the countries covered in the new executive order. Sudden was base for Al-Qaeda in the 1990s when Obama bin Laden lived there. He had been designated a state-sponsored terrorism by the United States for more than 20 years. But nowadays, the Saudi regime will still embrace conservative Southern Islam, tries to combat jihadist groups. President Obama recognized the change last year. He lifted some sanctions because Saddam's cooperation with the United States on addressing religion conflicts and with the threat of terrorism. Iran. Unlike the other 6, Iran is permanently Shia Muslim country that has been involved in fighting ISIS in both Syria and Iraq. But the U.S. says it remains the leading state sponsor in terrorism through its support for the Lebanese militia, Hezbollah, Palestine terrorist group in Gaza, and various groups in Iraq throughout the Middle East. In only one incident have the elements from Iran been allegedly involved in a plot on the U.S. 2011, the Iran American who lived in the U.S. for decades hatched a plan to assassinate Saudi ambassador in Washington. The U.S. Governor General Eric Holder said that the plot had been endorsed by parts of the Iranian government, but Iran denied any involvement. Of course they would. What about the other countries? 2014, more than 55% of terrorist attacks worldwide occurred in 5 countries, according to the State Department. Only one of these countries, Iraq, is covered in the executive order. No other 4, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria are not. Nor other countries such as Morocco, Tunisia, or Saudi Arabia. Thousands of those citizens are active in jihadist groups around the world. The executive order mentions the failure to properly synchronize visa applications of the 9/11 hijackers, but most of them were Saudis. In the comprehensive review of the terror cases in the United States since 9/11, the New American Foundation notes that every jihadist who conducted a lethal attack inside the United States since 9/11 was an American citizen or legal resident. Some have no criminal links to terrorist groups, others have associated themselves with ISIS. Some appear to have been driven primarily by personal issues. Some have had training overseas, such as Najibal Zazi. Others have not. There have been a handful of non-lethal attacks in the U.S. by migrants, including the last 2 years, by men of Somali origin. One of them came to the U.S. from Pakistan. The other had been born in Kenya. There was no evidence of any link to terror groups in either case. Shutting down the terror pipeline in the age of the traditional jihad and online radicalization has to be driven by sophisticated intelligent networks. The record of terror conspiracies and attacks suggested that the blanket ban on travel or immigration from any one country is, at best, a blunt instrument. As Alquid Endo, or however you pronounce his name, put it in 2010, jihad is becoming America as apple pie and British as afternoon tea. Okay, now, with me reading that, okay, if that doesn't open people's eyes to, get them to understand why Donald Trump put this travel ban on, then Lord help him. Is all I got to say. The link that I gave you, www.channel5news.com, and you type in the search button links to terrorist attacks. If you go through there and you read all of them, it talks about nearly almost all the terrorist attacks that were done, even the one in Paris and in France and all of that. Paris, France, all of that. These are some radical people, and not radical not being cool. Radical as being dangerous and stupid. Okay, and we need to open our eyes, okay? And we need to stand up, and we need to fight for our country, okay? The war is no longer overseas, okay? It has come to America. And we might not have, troops out on our highways, and there might not be a military ban, but if we don't do something, it's coming. And you better know how to grow food. You better know how to, sterilize water. How long it has to be boiled, how many times you have to boil it. You better have a generator and all that other kind of stuff. Because, Lord forbid if, they start fighting here in America like they have overseas. Ain't nobody gonna be safe. And if we don't open up our eyes, okay, take the earplugs out of our ears, take off the rose-colored glasses that has us believing or seeing everything is okay, and if we don't start looking at things the way it needs to be looked at, we're going to be in more trouble than we are right now, and that's what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to save America. And you got people holding up signs that says Muslim lives matter. These Muslims, half of them don't think about our lives. Was they thinking about the lives when they sit there and had those men down on their knees and chopped their heads off and demanded money? Those people hadn't done nothing to them. Have y'all forgot about that? Did you just, did you hit the delete button that's in your head to delete the memory? Or did you turn the channel when that came up? We're in trouble, people. That's all I got to say. We're in deep shit. Well, I gave you the link. I read you the article and everything else. And if you still want to close your eyes and you still want to plug up your ears and you don't want to pay attention, well, you better spread your legs, put your head between them, and kiss your ass goodbye. Because eventually that's what it's going to come down to. You're going to have to say goodbye to everything that, you love and hold dear. So once again, Okay? I say later. Wish you to be safe, joy, peace, love, and happiness. But most of all, be kind to each other. Later.